Have you ever felt like someone missed you, even though they never actually said it? The truth is, when someone genuinely misses you, they rarely express it directly. Instead, their feelings show up in subtle behaviors that most people never notice. In this video, you'll discover the surprising things people often do when they're secretly missing someone. And chances are you've seen some of these signs without even realizing what they meant. 1. They find random excuses to reach out. When someone truly misses you, what they want most is to feel connected to you again. But instead of saying, "I miss you," many people hide their feelings behind small, seemingly meaningless conversations. They might ask you a question they could easily Google, send you a funny meme, share a random video, or text you about something that isn't really important. On the surface, it looks casual, but deep down, they're not looking for an answer. They're looking for a reason to talk to you. Psychologists have found that people who feel emotionally attached often look for subtle ways to reconnect when they miss someone. Even a short conversation can give them comfort, because for a moment, they feel close to you again. What's interesting is that the stronger their feelings are, the more creative their excuses become. The conversation itself isn't what matters most. What they really want is to become part of your day again, even if it's only for a few minutes. 2. They quietly keep up with your life. Not everyone who misses you will constantly like your posts or leave comments on your social media. In fact, many people do the exact opposite. They watch from a distance. They may view every story you post, notice when you change your profile picture, or pay attention to what you're doing without leaving any visible sign that they were there. This often happens because missing someone is mixed with uncertainty. They want to know how you're doing, whether you're happy and what's happening in your life. At the same time, they don't want to appear desperate or make their feelings obvious. From a psychological perspective, emotional attachment naturally increases curiosity. The brain keeps searching for new information about the person it cares about. Even something as simple as a photo or a short update can make them feel a little closer to you. Ironically, the person who watches you the most isn't always the one who interacts with you the most. Sometimes they're simply the silent observer who never misses an update. 3. The smallest things remind them of you. One of the strongest signs that someone misses you has nothing to do with grand romantic memories. Instead, it's the little things that suddenly bring you back into their mind. They might remember the way you laughed, a phrase you always said, your favorite coffee order, or even the sound of your voice. A certain song, a familiar scent, or a place you once visited together can instantly bring back memories they weren't expecting. This happens because the brain stores memories together with emotions. The stronger the emotional connection, the easier it is for those tiny details to resurface. That's why people often miss someone at the most unexpected moments. What's fascinating is that these memories can trigger completely different emotions. One moment they may smile because they remembered something funny you shared. The next, they may feel a wave of sadness as they realize those moments are now just memories. When someone truly misses you, it's often the smallest reminders, not the biggest moments, that stay with them the longest. 4. They try to fill the void, but something still feels missing. When someone misses you, one of the first things they often do is try to distract themselves. They stay busy with work, spend more time with friends, hit the gym, dive into hobbies, or keep their schedule packed. From the outside, it looks like they've moved on. They seem happy, productive, and completely focused on their own life. But what most people don't see is what happens when the distractions disappear. At the end of the day, when everything gets quiet, the thoughts of you often come rushing back. The empty feeling they were trying to avoid is still there. Psychologically, this makes sense. Staying busy can temporarily shift someone's attention, but it doesn't replace an emotional connection. Activities can fill time, but they can't always fill the space someone special once occupied. What's interesting is that they usually aren't looking for someone to replace you. They're trying to replace the feeling your presence gave them. And the more they try to distract themselves, the more they realize that what they're missing isn't just company, it's you. 5. They bring you up in conversations without realizing it. One of the most overlooked signs that someone misses you is how often your name naturally comes up in conversation. They might see your favorite food and casually say, "I know someone who loves this." They hear a song and immediately think of a memory involving you. Even when the conversation has nothing to do with you, they somehow find a way to mention you or relate the topic back to something you once shared. Most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it. Psychologists suggest that people who have a strong emotional connection become mentally associated with many different experiences. As a result, everyday situations automatically trigger thoughts of that person. Sometimes friends notice it before they do. People around them may even joke about how often they mention your name, while they genuinely have no idea they've been doing it. That's because when someone is constantly on your mind, they naturally become part of the way you think, speak, and experience the world. Even without trying, memories of you continue to find their way into everyday conversations. 6. They keep going back to old conversations. One of the most common things people do when they miss someone, but rarely admit, is rereading old text messages. They scroll through conversations you had months or even years ago, smiling at inside jokes, reliving meaningful moments, or reading messages that once made them feel understood and appreciated. What's interesting is that they usually aren't looking for new information. They're looking for an old feeling. Psychologically, emotionally meaningful memories tend to stay deeply stored in the brain. When someone misses you, their mind naturally searches for experiences that once brought them comfort. Reading old messages allows them to reconnect with those emotions, even if it's only for a few minutes. Sometimes they'll laugh at something you once said. Other times they'll suddenly feel a wave of sadness as they realize those conversations belong to the past. To everyone else, it's just an old chat history. But to someone who truly misses you, it's a place where they can briefly feel close to you again. 7. They secretly hope you'll text first. One of the biggest signs that someone misses you is something you'll probably never see. They keep hoping that one day your name will suddenly appear on their phone. Every notification grabs their attention for a split second. They check their messages more often than usual, glance at their phone throughout the day, and quietly wonder if maybe, just maybe, you finally reached out. The interesting part is that many people will never admit they're doing this. Pride, fear of rejection, or simply not wanting to seem desperate keeps them from making the first move. Psychologists explain that emotional attachment often creates anticipation. When someone deeply cares about another person, their brain becomes more alert to any possibility of reconnecting. So even if they act completely normal on the outside, they may secretly be hoping that the next notification they receive is from you, even if it's just a simple message asking, "How have you been?" 8. They pay extra attention whenever someone mentions you. When someone genuinely misses you, your name has a way of instantly grabbing their attention. Imagine they're in the middle of a conversation. They're only half listening until someone suddenly says your name. Almost immediately, their focus shifts. They want to hear every detail. They become curious about how you're doing, what you've been up to, whether you're happy or if anything has changed in your life. Psychologists believe this happens because the brain naturally gives more attention to people who carry strong emotional significance. The more someone means to us, the harder it is to ignore anything connected to them. What's even more interesting is that after hearing news about you, they often keep thinking about it long after the conversation ends. If they hear you're doing well, they feel relieved. If they hear you're struggling, they may quietly worry, even if they haven't spoken to you in a long time. That's the power of missing someone. Even from a distance, they still care about what happens in your life, whether they ever say it out loud or not. 9. They can't let go of the little routines you shared. One of the quietest signs that someone misses you is that they keep doing the little things you used to do together. Maybe they still stop by your favorite coffee shop, listen to a song you both loved, order the same meal, or take the same route you once walked together. The interesting part is that they often don't do these things on purpose. These routines have simply become linked to memories of you. The brain naturally connects places, sounds, smells, and everyday experiences with people who had a strong emotional impact on our lives. That's why something as simple as hearing a familiar song or passing by a certain street can suddenly bring you back into their thoughts. Psychologists call these memory cues, small reminders in our environment that trigger emotional memories. The stronger the emotional connection was, the more powerful these reminders become. So when someone keeps revisiting those familiar routines, it isn't always because they're trying to hold on to the past. Sometimes their mind simply hasn't stopped associating those moments with you. 10. They hold themselves back from reaching out. This may be the most misunderstood sign of all. Many people assume that if someone never contacts them, it means they've moved on. But that's not always true. Sometimes the people who miss you the most are the ones who never send the message. They type out a text, then delete it. They open your profile, then close the app. They think about calling, then convince themselves not to. Why? Because they don't want to bother you. They're afraid of being rejected. They wonder if you've already moved on. Or maybe they're simply trying to protect their own heart. From a psychological standpoint, this is a conflict between desire and fear. One part of them wants to reconnect, while another part tells them it's safer to stay silent. So don't assume silence always means indifference. Sometimes silence is simply what missing someone looks like when fear speaks louder than feelings. Missing someone doesn't always sound like the words, "I miss you." More often, it reveals itself through small, quiet behaviors that most people never notice. Finding random excuses to reach out, checking your social media, rereading old messages, hoping you'll text first, or holding back from contacting you at all. These actions can all reflect the emotional impact someone still has on another person's life. That said, it's important to remember that no single behavior can prove how someone feels. People express emotions in different ways, and these signs should never be taken as absolute proof that someone misses you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But one thing is certain, when someone has truly touched your heart, the memories rarely disappear overnight. They often live on in the smallest habits, the quietest moments, and the feelings that words can never fully explain.